As you may or may not know, the popular manga series Oshi no Ko recently came to an end. This manga has been, at least most of the time, one of my favorite series for a very long time. So while seeing it come to an end made me pretty sad, I was also really excited to see how this story I had grown to adore so much would end. So when I saw that people online were saying that this ending was somehow worse than the JJK ending, I started stressing the fuck out. I went into the final chapters of this series expecting to be greatly disappointed. I was thinking of countless scenarios that could have happened in these final chapters. Was the Oshi no Ko just the friends you made along the way? Or maybe I was alive this whole time? Or god damn it, did they do this twincest shit again? Please don't ever do this shit again. But then I actually read it. And while I could completely understand people's feelings towards this ending, I didn't think it was bad. Rather, I thought it was kind of perfect. We start off with Aqua approaching Hikaru at the end of a cliff, where he's watching Ruby perform live on his cell phone. Aqua confronts Hikaru for spreading lies and manipulating the people around him in order to get what he wanted. He took many lives in this process and even attempted to take the life of his very own daughter. Hearing all of this, Hikaru couldn't help but to smile. With zero remorse, he looked directly into his son's eyes. "You have the same eyes as me," he tells him. The eyes of lies, selfishness, and manipulation. He's right. Aqua had been manipulating people since Ai's death in order to get his revenge. No matter how you look at it, he and Hikaru are one and the same. They're both ugly beings that used other people as pawns in order to get what they wanted. Aqua himself admitted to this, but they weren't all the same. In fact, Ruby was different. From before she was reborn, all the way until now, Ruby's #1 driving factor was love. Sure, she stumbled a few times along the way, but in the end, she became an idol because she wants to spread her love to all the fans around the world that look up to her, the same way she promised Goro that she would. And just like I did for a dying young girl watching her from a hospital bed, Hikaru's lone existence was a threat to Ruby's future. This man would never stop trying to kill her, so he needed to disappear. Hikaru laughs at the idea, as he knows that killing him wouldn't solve anything. In the end, Ruby would just be painted as the sister of a murderer in the eyes of the people, and the rest of Aqua's life would be spent behind bars. Aqua admitted that he couldn't simply kill him and walk away from everything. Along with Ruby, he had dreams of his own. He wanted to become a surgeon, hang out with all his friends again, thank Miyako for being his mother, and even fall in love. But in the end, he was put into this second life as Ruby's twin in order to always be by her side and protect her, so he planned on doing just that, even if it meant throwing away a future of his own. So, Aqua decided to manipulate people. One last time. Hikaru hunted down the scriptwriter of the 15-year lie after being accused of a crime in the biopic. He stabbed the young man, and after struggle, they both fell off a cliff to their deaths. One final lie. As they both sank deeper and deeper into the ocean, Aqua held a tight grip around his neck, trying to finish him once and for all. Hikaru could feel his consciousness fading, but he refused to die in a place like this. He grabbed Aqua by the neck in a final attempt to fight back, when he felt a force pulling him downwards. The souls of everyone he had massacred in the past were dragging him down to his own demise. As he drifted away to the bottom of the ocean, he thought of Ai, the only person that made him feel alive one last time. In the end, he had but one regret, failing to kill Ruby, and missing the chance to feel her presence even more. As Aqua continued to sink, he dreamed about an impossible reality. A reality where everyone had a happy ending. It is here where Aqua had a conversation with Tsukuyomi, where he doubts his judgment, but she reassures him, telling him that despite having to carry the memories of an adult, and the pain of failing to save Serena and Ai, he was just a kid. He was a softie who helped someone despite getting nothing in return. He was happy, he was sad, he was angry at injustice, he was interested in romance, he lied just like his parents. He was just an 18-year-old kid. In his final moments, Aqua couldn't help but to struggle. His body was cold and in unbearable pain. He was scared and didn't want to die. He wanted to live on with everybody else. His mind was rushing when all of a sudden, he began to hear a song in his head. He thought about his twin sister one last time, before finally closing his eyes and dying with a smile. I saw that one of the biggest problems people had with this ending was Aqua's death. I also wanted Aqua to live just as much as everybody else, but no matter how I look at it, I don't see what else he could have done. Ruby's well-being was the most important thing to him, and he would give anything up in order for her to live out her dream of being an idol. So when he's faced with a man like Hikaru, a master of manipulation that will not stop at absolutely anything in order to kill Ruby, what other option did he really have? Sure, he probably could have orchestrated a much more intricate murder plan by using the people around him to his advantage once more, but that would mean he'd have to endanger the people he loves, which is something he obviously wouldn't want to do. His final lie was going to be the last selfish act he would ever commit, and while it brought great sorrow to all the people that loved him, it also protected them and their futures. We cut to Akane, narrating everything that occurred after the events of that night. She was the only person who truly understood Aqua down to his core, therefore being the only person that truly knew what happened, meaning Aqua's plan went off accordingly. Akane deeply regrets not being able to help him more. As long as she was by his side, she was ready to go down to the deepest depths of hell. Despite the attempts to stop its release, the 15-year lie was released to the public and became the 6th most watched movie that year by using Aqua's death as a way to market the movie. It wasn't until now where we got to see every character's reaction to his death. We see Kana deliver on her promise she made to him at his funeral and break down shortly after. We see Miyako grieving the loss of her son, and we see all the people Aqua could call his friends attending his funeral as well. At the very end, we see Ruby crying non-stop. She was the person who cried the most out of anyone, but without being able to sort out her feelings or having anyone to save her, she chose to keep living. Everyone did. Ruby kept moving forward despite having to cover all her sadness with lies and forcing herself to smile. The darker her world got, the brighter she would shine in the eyes of others. In the final scene, we see Ruby complain about having to tell lie after lie, but in the end, it didn't matter because she loves her job. She looks back at their pictures one last time before telling them, "I'm off," as she walks out the front door, heading towards the future Aqua and I illuminated for her. In the end, everyone carried Aqua's will and continued to move forward in order to find meaning in the lives that Aqua died to protect, which is all he ever wanted. This ending hurts, and it's unsatisfying, but I believe that is the point. Obviously, I would have loved to see this series get a happy ending, but it was very clear from the very first chapter that that wasn't going to be the case. Being shown that Ruby will have to live on just like I, telling lie after lie throughout her whole career, breaks my heart, but it makes sense. Throughout this series, we have been shown time and time again that the core of the idol industry, or showbiz as a whole, is built on lies. It's only natural that Ruby would eventually have to go down this path of lies working as an idol. And while it really does suck, it doesn't really matter all that much. I, Hoshino, the greatest idol anyone had ever seen, the idol Ruby looked up to in her past life as Serena, built her whole career on a foundation of lies. Ruby is different. Even after losing both I and Aqua, we still see her express how much she loves this job. Sure, she has to hide all of the sadness in her heart with lies, but in the end, the reason she's working as hard as she is purely out of love. That's what makes her special. This time around, the idol who gives a sick little girl her strength will be one built not on lies, but on love. I won't say that this ending is perfect because it's not. There are some parts that could have been done better, and other parts that were a bit much. But I can't stress enough that everyone is completely entitled to their own opinions on this ending. This video was simply me sharing the way I interpreted this ending, and an attempt at hopefully giving people who were disappointed with it a new angle to look at it from. Following these characters for the last few years has really been an incredible journey, and I'm deeply grateful for being able to experience it. I'm definitely going to be looking forward to Aqua's future work. If you made it all this way, thank you for watching. I'm deeply thankful to all of you who took the time to watch me yap about a book. This video is completely different to anything I've ever done on this channel, so I'd greatly appreciate it if you gave me your thoughts down in the comments. I'm still gonna make my usual comic book film stuff, but I wanted to expand my content to other things I love, such as games, manga, you know. So yeah, let me know in the comments. Good, bad, whatever, be honest, please. It helps me out a lot. Anyway, thanks again, and yeah, see ya.